I want to thank Senator Sanders for laying out the budget in a way that makes sense. It's a document that's supposed to reflect our values, who we are. It's supposed to be a roadmap for our future. And what he just said is, it's a roadmap to disaster. And I intend to pick up on that theme. And I want to say, I know how hard it is to get a budget out. I was on the House Budget Committee for years, the Senate. So I want to compliment Senator Enzi. I know it's hard to put together a coalition, even in your own party. But, you know, he's right. He said the Senate's under new management, and he's very excited about it, and I understand that. I get it. I've been in both the majority and the minority, and I like the majority a lot better. But the bottom line is, if this is the first big action of the new management, let's bring back the old one, because in this budget, the people who benefit are the very tippy top, maybe 0.2%. It's unreal. It is unreal. And I'm not going to stand here and just throw out barbs. I'm going to give definite numbers so that everybody sees what we mean. Now, the only time we've had a balanced budget in recent history is when Bill Clinton was president, the Democrats controlled here. And I remember it well because we didn't get one Republican vote for that budget that was so critical. I remember my colleague Bob Kerrey was thinking about it so hard. He saw all sides. He went to the movies. And during the movie, it came to him, this was the right budget. He came back and voted, and it got done. Now, that was a Democratic budget that invested in the people of the United States of America, invested in their infrastructure, invested in their education, invested in their health care, invested in them. Invested in them. Remember, President Clinton said, put America's families first. And it worked. Because we invested in our people, we headed into a period of unprecedented growth, 23 million jobs created under Bill Clinton, and the budget balanced. As soon as George W. Bush took over, he did enormous tax cuts to the wealthiest at the top, got us into two wars, put them on a credit card, and we have been battling our way back after the worst economic downturn. If you look at the job creation under W, it's just shocking. And now, under President Obama, we have fought tooth and nail. We're coming back. This budget is an unmitigated disaster. Let's start. At a time when 16 million people have finally been able to get health insurance, thanks to the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, they want to repeal this law and throw these people out. And they will not have health care. And then what will happen? They will suffer, their families will suffer, and the economy will suffer. At a time when nearly 70 million Americans rely on Medicaid and CHIP for health coverage, Medicaid, we know, is for the working poor. CHIP is for children. They want to block grant that program, and while they're doing it, impose cuts of more than 1.3 trillion. So you have to ask this question. This isn't just a matter of putting a number on an easel. What will it mean for maternity care when half of all our births in the U.S. are financed by Medicaid? Half of all births in the U.S. are financed by Medicaid, and they're cutting Medicaid by $1.3 trillion. So they'll fight for your right to be born, but boy, don't count on getting any help if you wind up in a maternity ward. At a time when more than 50 million senior citizens and disabled Americans are in the Medicare program, and baby boomers continue to age in, they propose cutting the program by $430 billion and placing the burden on the backs of seniors and privatizing that program through vouchers. They're going to end Medicare. Senior citizens, you're under new management here, and they're ending Medicare as we know that. as we know that great program. So after years of being the most successful program, and if you ask people on Medicare if they like it, they not only like it, they love it, they're ending it. And as Senator Sanders points out eloquently, I thought, they're saying to a sick person, you know, people are living longer, thank God. And so let's say a person is 85, 90 years old, having a hard time functioning, then getting a desperate cancer on top of it. Here's money. Go out and find the best insurance you can. Oh, yeah, we know you're 90. Here's a website. Oh, I don't have a computer. Too bad. We're under new management over here. Oh, great. Bring back the old management. That's what I think. The old management wasn't perfect, but the old management had a heart, had a soul. Know why we're here. Now, how's this? In case you're not sold about how devastating this budget is, the Republican budget resolution eliminates opportunities for the neediest students from preschool to college by cutting $270 billion from education and job training investments over the next decade. So while the Republican leadership is pushing for free trade, whatever, what's happening to training our workers? They're cut. At a time when less than half of eligible preschool-age children are able to participate in Head Start, half of our eligible kids, they can't get in. The Republican budget cuts the program by over $4 billion, resulting in over 400,000 children losing access to Head Start over the next decade. I mean, tell me I'm dreaming. This is the new management. We're going to take 400,000 children over the next decade and say, sorry, no room for you. The door is closed. And we all know that Head Start is critical. We know the cost of college continues to rise. We all know it because we're alive. We have a heartbeat and a pulse, and everybody alive today knows what it is. I've met people who are still paying off their student loan debt when they're on Social Security. That's the new reality. What do? They cut Pell Grant funding by more than a third, making college less affordable for many of the more than 8 million students receiving aid. So let's see who is now in their line of fire, okay? Middle class, seniors, little babies, students, workers, at a time when student loan debt has reached $1.2 trillion, and students are graduating with over $28,000 in student loan debt on average, the Republican budget resolution eliminates the in-school interest subsidy for need-based student programs, causing student loan debt to increase by nearly $4,000 for an estimated 30 million students. So it isn't bad enough for them to know that people are paying off their student loans when they're Social Security. Now they're increasing the cost of student loans even more, instead of working with us to decrease the cost to students. I'll tell you, if every taxpayer in America is a shareholder, it's time to call a meeting and change this management. Now, if you're a renter, 1 in 4 renters is paying more than half their income on housing, placing them one paycheck away from homelessness. Half your income. The Republican budget resolution eliminates housing assistance for 450,000 families due to a 14% cut to the Section 8 rental assistance program. Beautiful. And at a time when 45 million people are living in poverty, the Republican budget cuts $800 billion from income security programs over 10 years. This category includes SNAP, supplemental security income from low-income seniors and people with disabilities, and heating assistance for low-income families. Lovely. Lovely. Welcome to the new management of the United States Senate. Now, here's the thing. This is even hard to imagine they did it. It upset them so much that the wealthiest 14 families might get hit with a little bit of a tax. And I'm talking about people that are worth over $10 million, way more. 20, 30, 40, 50, you name it. The highest level. They give them a $3 million tax cut. And they actually raise taxes by an average of $900 on 16 million low and moderate income families by allowing expansion to the EITC and child tax credit to expire. So there's no expansion of that program. Now, who else could we hit? Well, maybe we could hit some of our states that are suffering from the realities of climate change, like the western states that are undergoing the longest recorded drought in history. Come to talk to my farmers. Ask them how happy they are that you are proposing dramatic cuts and have imposed them in this budget to the EPA, to the Department of Interior, to NOAA, the agencies best equipped to steward our precious natural resources, develop a clean energy future, enforce our water laws, and protect our health. But wait a minute, there's a few people who were left away from this budget knife. Well, if you drive a car, or you drive a truck, or you get on a bus, you get hit too. Listen to this one. At a time when 63,500 of our bridges are structurally deficient and 50% of our roads are in less than good condition, this budget cuts transportation and infrastructure investment by more than $200 billion over 10 years, a cut of 40%. Now, I just had a press conference a couple of weeks ago with Republican business leaders and Democratic workers, and they have come together against this new management idea. They're looking to fund the Highway Trust Fund. The whole fund expires this month. I haven't heard one word about how we're going to have a multi-year funding bill. We have 6 states today that have stopped spending on infrastructure. Now, the last I checked, we're still the greatest nation in the world. Tell me, how do you remain a great power if your bridges are structurally deficient, 63,500 of them? How do you remain a world power when you cannot move goods efficiently or people efficiently? Now, I will say, in all my years here, I've had the best relationship on infrastructure spending with my colleague, Senator Inhofe of Oklahoma. This budget predicts a 40% decrease in infrastructure spending. So pretty much everyone who is impacted by this new management, which is all of us, is getting hit hard by this budget. A budget is a reflection of who you fight for, what you believe in, what your values are. And this budget will bring pain to middle-class families, to our working poor, to our children, to our seniors, to our students, to our drought-plagued or flood-plagued areas, to the people who use their automobiles to go to work. In essence, this budget hurts the very people we should be fighting for. And instead of checking with those who actually balanced the budget when Bill Clinton was president, they go off on an opposite tear, which is to take away investments, which is what led to the prosperity, which is what led to the balanced budget, which is what led to 23 million jobs, and put in place austerity. Now, I gave you just a little look at some of these cuts. But guess what, America? There is a secret here in the budget. There's another $900 billion of cuts over the next 10 years in a secret little package unspecified cuts, almost $1 trillion worth, because they don't even know where to go to cut. So if you didn't like the cuts I talk about, wait till they get to the unspecified cuts. And who do you think is going to get those cuts? Not the wealthy few families. It's going to be more pain for the middle class, more pain for the working poor, more pain for the workers and the businesses in the transportation sector. We're not going to see cures for Alzheimer's or cancer because, believe me, that's not going to happen. No initiatives there. This budget does not belong on the Senate floor. This budget is too painful to be enacted. This budget ought to be redone with an eye toward balance that we achieved those years ago by making smart investments in our people, by cutting back on wasteful spending, by not bringing political vendettas to the table when already so many millions of our people have health insurance. You're going to take it away. You fought so hard for the chance to govern. You did, believe me, just as we're going to fight to get it back. That's what politics is. But now it's time to work together. This is a radical, radical budget. This doesn't reflect any coming together. And I will tell you, as soon as we wake up America to the fact that this budget hurts them, maybe we're going to have a chance to fix it. I really hope so. Because our middle class can't take any more pain. Our drivers can't take any more pain. Our students can't take any more pain. Our seniors can't take any more pain. Our children can't defend themselves. So I hope we'll have a big no vote against this budget. I also hope, after we have our vote, that we could come together and fix some of these major problems, starting with the Highway Trust Fund, where already 6 of our states have stopped spending. And I can tell you this, there's still 800,000 unemployed construction workers and thousands of businesses that are suffering because we don't have a long-term solution to the Highway Trust Fund. Why don't we take care of that? No, we're going to take up some fast-track, speedy trade bill that include countries who pay their people 52 cents an hour. That's what we're going to do. We're going to rush to that. Why don't we fix the problems here? Why don't we fix the student loan rates so people aren't paying off student loans while they're on Social Security? Why don't we make sure that people can afford to get educated? Why don't we improve the healthcare system and not throw people off the rolls? Let's do it the right way. Let's not do it my way or the highway, because it only is going to wind up hurting the American people. Thank you very much.